Well, welcome everyone. We're so happy that you're here. Go ahead and look around the room, and we used to fist bump. Before that, we used to, I think we actually hugged for a while. Anyway, let's share some metta, with even a smile with each other. Give yourself a nice stretch as an act of kindness. Yeah. I'm Debbie George, one of your Dharma leaders. Welcome you guys in Zoom land. Happy you're here too. Okay. And I don't want to forget to wish all those in Ramadan practice well, first day of Ramadan. It's about generosity and community and forgiveness and really wonderful things. So tonight, I'm going to give a talk, or a talk is going to come through me. And I'm probably going to be hearing it for the first time too, as you hear it. And it's going to be about how week after week, we get these wonderful Dharma talks about all kinds of subjects. And it can be overwhelming. I remember early on in my development, I would get overwhelmed a little bit with recently we had a talk on right speech, on concentration, deep levels of concentration, on working with difficult thoughts and emotions. And then there's all the numbers, the 5 hindrances to meditation, the 4 noble truths, the 8-fold path, the 7 factors of awakening, all the numbers that enabled people to remember the teachings back before the written word. So, whoa, we came here for peace. We came here to kind of quiet our minds, and we can tend to get filled up with a lot of ideas. So tonight I want to kind of do like 101, like Insight Meditation 101, and just say that every single teaching points to the same thing. Every single teaching. Suffering and its end. And the word suffering comes from, it's the most common translation of dukkha. Also, you could use the word stress. We can kind of relate to that word. Dissatisfaction, sorrow, lots of words. So you'll hear me interchange on that. But cortisol is real. Cortisol is the stress hormone that really is related to many, many health issues, especially as we get older. And also, we all want to be happy. So we really want to learn. So really the one teaching is really the 4 noble truths. It's the truth of dukkha, of suffering or stress, the cause, which is our grasping, our wanting things to be a certain way. The truth is that it's just part of life. We're all heading to the same place. You guys know that. We're all subject to become ill, to age, to die, to be separated from what we love. And we're going to get things in our life that we didn't plan on, didn't want. We're going to not get things that we really, really sincerely desire. Things constantly change. I think you guys experience what we're talking about. The cause, it turns out, is grasping. So it's our own desire for it to be a certain way. And so The third noble truth is really, it's letting go. The more we can let go, the more peace we'll find. And the fourth truth is the path, the training program that has three parts to it: the wisdom, understanding what we're up against, so karma and the Four Noble Truths, the ethical practices, speech, action, livelihood, how we support ourselves in the world, how we speak, how we show up in the world, and finally the mind training, so effort, mindfulness, and concentration, all points to reducing our suffering, our stress. So I just want to back up a little. When you hear the talk about right speech, for example, we can tend to start judging how we speak, and we can tend to feel to add more stress. I'm a failure. I can't do it. Or concentration. Concentration? What's that? I can't stay with my breath for more than a. So we can take some of the teachings and turn it on ourselves, can't we? So I hope tonight, at the very least, we all learn to become much softer on ourselves. So the crux, of course, like I said, the Four Noble Truths, if we truly want to reduce our stress, truly, we need to practice. We need to practice mindfulness with metta, imbued with kindness, because we suffer. We need to mitigate with a tremendous amount of kindness. As we sit and we know our own suffering, don't we know our own vulnerability? And knowing how vulnerable we are, don't we know others? We see that we all kind of have our own karmic patterns, kind of our own ways of suffering, but we all suffer. I tend to, I was raised by an amazing mother, but she taught us all to just use excuses. When we could, it was like, just make it, I had four sisters, and we just like grew up just using excuses why we didn't have this or that or do this or that, And it was meant well. My mom got it somewhere, that, and of course, fixing. That's one of my karmic patterns, fixing. Not everybody wants to be fixed, I found out. Even though I know what they need. Turns out they seem to know more what they need than I do. That was a shock. So, but we all suffer, and we all have our ways that we come by honestly, So I want to say a word about, if we are going to get serious, if we really want to reduce our suffering, you're going to hear us talk all the time. And of course now, because we have a retreat coming up in a month, you're going to hear a lot about this residential 3-day immersion. But truly, to learn a new skill, immersion is a way when your needs are met, wholesome meals are provided, comfortable lodging, you're away from your daily responsibilities, you are practicing really 16 hours a day while you're doing all your activities, eating, walking, using the bathroom, sitting, standing. So it's just like learning any new skill. My son works for a French company, and he's the only non-French speaking employee. And so for 18 months, he's been in French classes. And, it's been kind of rough. And then for 8 days, he went to the headquarters, he went to France. And from now the 18 months were important. Our study, our practice, just daily small amounts is important, but immersion is really what's going to make a huge difference. So the present moment is really where it's at. That's what, we want to learn to not live in the future or in the past. Learn to have the courage to be with difficult moments and to learn how to meet them. Um, Courage is an important word in this practice. The breath also can easily be overlooked as the rock star that it really is. Every moment that we're not involved in thinking, that we're not lost in thought, every moment, every half a breath that we're with is significant. That is the gumption to let go of the thinking and to be with this breath. Don't underestimate that. We can just kind of diss the breath. So here's a wonderful quote by one of my favorite teachers, Larry Rosenberg. He's talking about one of his teachers, Ajahn Buddhadasa. He says, Ajahn Buddhadasa, let me see that because the breath is so unassuming, I had been undervaluing it. I was looking for a complicated path to enlightenment when this simple one was right before me. So shout out to the breath. Okay, the Metta Sutta is one of my favorite teachings of the Buddha because I love that he says, this is what you should do. I mean, that's like a line from it. Yay, I don't have to figure it out. This is what I should do. So I've just highlighted some of the lines. And I will say that, like I said, the path of training is again, wisdom, understanding the way life is, that suffering is inherent in life, difficulty inherent. Karma also, that every moment we're planting seeds for good or difficulties. And then the next part is ethics. So this is a big part of our happiness, the Buddha is saying. Cleaning up our act brings so much peace, so much ease to us. So here is a few lines from well, more than a few, but the Metta Sutta, loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who's skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied. Now let's not judge ourselves as I list this, okay? If you're not there yet, these are high aspirations, okay? Unburdened with duties, that's the one that hurts me, ouch. So not so busy. Not being busy is counter to what we were trying to do here. Frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, not demanding in nature, wishing in gladness and in safety. So that's about how we are with ourselves, wishing ourselves gladness and safety. May all beings be at ease. Whatever beings there may be, may all beings be at ease. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all beings. And in all directions, freed from hatred and ill will. So, mindfulness with loving kindness. It's really as simple as that. All the teachings point to that, to seeing clearly. Turns out we don't see very clearly. We see through a screen, a filter of our views and opinions and habits and just kind of perceptions that we've always unexamined views that we've had. So when we sit and we become the witness, I'm preaching to the choir, I understand that, but I'm going to preach anyway. We can start to get more of an understanding of what we need to work with, but with so much kindness. So stress is normal, and we can do it. We can reduce it by learning to let go more. Let go of how taking things personally. We make pain and we make suffering through our stories. We can learn to let go of our stories. We can unentangle a lot. Ehipassiko, the Buddha said over and over again. He said, I point to the way, you have to go. See for yourself. Here's the teaching, go see for yourself. And I want to share now a poem, especially because Joy is here. And I love to share poems when Joy is here. And this is Dana Falls. Joy's a fan too. It's let it go. Let it go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you receive it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores, beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find the place of peace. The place of rest and peace and certain transformation. And Ajahn Sucitto, in the unawakened state, we think of happiness or peace as a commodity we have to work hard to get and hold on to. In awakening, we see how it is simply what is left when we stop grasping. It's the ground we fall back on when the grasping ends. So, I talked to you about my karmic pattern of fixing, and kind of look over the years, I've really looked at that, and it's really much diminished. And my happiness is much higher, as we've talked about earlier tonight. Not just that, but lots of, results of the practice. Helping is good. I don't want to say anything bad about helping. It's wonderful. But what is under the desire I had to look at to fix? Do I want to feel smart, wise, or needed? A sense of superiority that I know what's best? Is this a way for me to deal with my insecurity? I feel secure when I can fix someone, when I'm needed. I needed to see my own savior tendency and question my motivation, and then discern, does this person want help? And if so, So mindfulness allowed me to see my motivation more honestly, even when it was hard to face. So here's a quote that I came across. Maybe you guys saw this recently. If you've come here to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you've come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. I love that. So in conclusion, thoughts, they're not the enemy, but we get lost, don't we? And we easily can follow them. Like, it popped up in my mind, it must be true. It must be true. We spend a lot of time believing the stories of our minds. A lot of negativity, comparing. We see somebody, we compare how they dress, we compare how they speak. We judge and compare. Again, the powerful mitigator is metta with mindfulness. Remember, of our actions, of our speech, it's a result of our mind. So is that, love that Native American story about the grandchild asking the grandparent about how we have two wolves that live in us, live in our hearts. And one is understanding and kind and forgiving, and the other is angry and impatient and, mad, whatever. And they fight. And so the little child says, well, who wins? The one that's fed. The one we feed is the strong, is what we have guiding us. So we can when we imbue our mind with loving kindness first toward our own being, it's automatically offered to others around us. As we transform it's the water we start to swim in. I'm going to end with a couple of quotes, favorite quotes, and it's about the body being in the present moment and how powerful that is. So this is, the first one is the Buddha. There's one thing that when cultivated and regularly practiced leads to deep spiritual intention, to peace, to mindfulness and clear comprehension, to vision and knowledge, to a happy life here and now, and to the culmination of wisdom and awakening. And what is that one thing? Mindfulness centered on the body. And then this is the words of Ajahn Mun, who was a teacher of Ajahn Chah. He said, in your investigation of the world, never allow the mind to desert the body. Examine its nature, see the impermanence, the suffering, the selflessness of the body while sitting, walking, or lying down. Then its true nature is seen fully and lucidly by the heart. The wonders of the world will become clear. In this way, the purity of the mind can shine forth, timeless and delivered. I obviously couldn't say it better than that. Thank you for listening.